The following podcast is brought to you by Pro Wrestling Connect, Australia's newest choice for event management and brand development specializing in pro wrestling.
And now, the B Plus Wrestling Podcast. Watch global. Support local. It's the B Plus Wrestling Podcast.
The news.
B plus.
All right, ladies, gents, and non-binary friends, welcome to another B Plus podcast. I'm your host, Greg Unchained. Today is Friday. You know what that means. It's our favorite day here at the B Plus. It's Aussie Graps Day, but you've already heard that podcast. That came out this morning. We're doing a special bonus Aussie Graps show talking MCW. Tensions rising. I wish the temperature was rising, Danders.
Me too, and I don't know why I chose this moment to put a lint ball in my mouth. Give me 10 seconds.
And if you want to see balls in Dander's mouth, subscribe to Patreon.
Get fucked! Oh my god. Yeah.
I took it there.
It is fucking freezing here in Melbourne. I've invested in a heater in a heater for the first time in my adult life. I used to work in the energy industry, so I'm so anti-heating because it will rape your electricity bills. I shouldn't have used that word.
No.
It is not good for your electricity bills, but it's been so cold and I am fucking old now. But yeah, temperature rising.
Starting to feel it in our old bones, right?
Word.
Yeah. So I've got that heater running right now. People can probably hear it. It's going to affect the audio quality, but I don't care because it's like 4 degrees and it's ridiculous. So we're going to talk MCW tensions rising today, right? And thank you for getting my back. You're like, we need to do more local stuff. We need to do more local stuff. And of course, I used to do these preview shows for every show, but things get in the way, life gets in the way. But you got on my back, and so here we are. We're doing the MCW tensions rising preview. Are you attending the show this weekend?
I'm not. I've had a last minute trip interstate. So I won't be attending. I think it's the first one I'm missing in a long time.
So you're always there. I thought that was a given.
Yeah, so I'm a bit disappointed, and especially since, look, on paper, it doesn't look like a huge card, to like being completely honest, in terms of like belt defenses. However, there is a lot of fucking stacked names here. So I think it's going to be an awesome show, and MCW have gotten so good at putting the shows up on Vimeo super quick, so I know I'll get to watch this pretty soon.
Yeah, you'll probably get to watch it before the week's out, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think Mikey J's probably recovered from his ridiculous month of May that he did.
Oh my goodness.
just trying to, commit suicide by overworking himself, but...
Yeah, May was a busy month, so yeah, hopefully he's recovered there and he can get this out nice and quickly for us. I'm
going to disagree with you about how stacked the card is, though. I look at this card and I'm like, it's bursting at the fucking seams. Like, there's so much happening on this card, and like, I think we disagree in terms of whether you need title defenses and stuff on it. Like, I'm a huge PWA fan, as you know, and you're like, you always say, oh, but they never defend the titles, and I'm like, yeah, but I don't care. Like, the stories are great, and when the title matches do happen, they feel bigger.
And here's the thing that differs between us. There is a whole lot of good matches. There's no stories. The closest thing to a story is we've got the Brat Pack versus the Philippes. Through no fault of MCW, that match, which was, I assume, was going to be an awesome feud originally booked, came at the time when the Philippes were chosen to go to the Fale Dojo. So that put a halt on that. So I think that's the only match that we've got that has actual story. And you know me, I'm all for story.
Yeah, me too. Well, I'm going to try to tease out some story out of some of these matches. So let's head back to the beginning. Let's look at the card bottom to top. So we'll get to that main event that you just mentioned, because we've got to believe that tag match will be the main event. It's the only title on the line as well. But there is a title in contention with the Inter-Commonwealth Championship tournament. Every time I see IC, I go to say Intercontinental, just, training of my brain. But the Inter-Commonwealth Championship tournament semi-finals are taking place. So on one side of the bracket, we have TD taking on Danny Psycho. And on the other side, we have Richie Taylor and Lockie Hendricks. So there is a story here, of course. We're chasing a title that has been relinquished to give someone new an opportunity. Good guy Slex.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't mean that there's like no story. It's just like I think people are going to really get behind Danny Psycho.
Yes.
Even those because obviously newer MCW fans aren't going to be super familiar with him. Full disclosure, I just don't. The fact that TD won at the last show was a massive surprise to me. He beat Jet, which I think was a big shock to people considering how Jet has been pushed this year. And that's going to go into a whole other thing, I believe, with
the artist formerly known as Camby.
Yes, Atlas Whitaker. So yeah, I think I personally see Danny going over in this. The crowd was so hot for him last show. He is, full disclosure, he's a little bit before my time, so I don't know much about him. I feel like I've seen him at PCW. Does he?
Yes,
do
you would
PCW?
have.
Yeah.
Yes, you would have. Yeah.
But yeah, as far as his MCW history is, I'm a little bit blank there. But yeah, I think that this will be a good match. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, look, he has some serious history with Slex and a number of the old timers, I guess you could say, in MCW. I feel weird calling them old timers, but it feels like Danny Psycho, coming back to Melbourne City Wrestling. I think that was his first match at the last show. Was his first match in over 6 years in MCW. He has still been wrestling, obviously, as you said. You would have seen him at PCW, and he hasn't missed a beat, man. I actually think he's at the peak of his career. He's putting on better performances, and this is based off that one Melbourne City Wrestling performance because PCW tape is hard to find. But it was an incredible match, and I'm really looking forward. I had him picked from the beginning. I had him picked to go to the finals. So I do have Danny Psycho going over here as well, and I have him meeting one Loverboy Lockie Hendricks in the finals of the tournament. So Lockie Hendricks and Richie Taylor, how do you see that one going?
I see Lockie going over for sure, which is, look, it's really disappointing. Not disappointing, because obviously they're pushing Lockie very hard, which is great. I think that he needs this to sort of revamp his whole Uncle Paul shtick. I feel like the Uncle Paul shtick was getting a little bit tired. But with some legitimate momentum, I think that that's going to really help that there.
Yeah.
The part that not upsets me or whatever is just Richie Taylor feels like he can't sort of really catch a break. The crowd is super behind him. But yeah, he doesn't seem to be having a huge amount of success in the ring.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what they're going for, right? I think that Richie is he's a badass, but he's also at this point becoming a really lovable underdog that everyone wants to see get that big moment. And you're going to get some great heat on Lockie, having him find a way to make sure Richie doesn't get that moment. And yeah, like you said, it adds some fuel to the Uncle Paul story, right? Because at some point he has to leave, and I think he's earmarked his date for leaving as the Ballroom Brawl, right?
That's going to be his last show, I believe.
Yeah, and so if he goes on to beat another legend, right, Danny Psycho, another MCW legend for the Intercommonwealth title. And gets on the mic and says, well, Uncle Paul told me if I won this title, I'm going to have to stay in this rinky-dink country, do all that stuff. And he can almost take on an MCW killer gimmick, right? And I feel like there's ways you can go with it. I'm not saying that's where they're going to go, but I'm saying that I feel like it will add some definitely necessary fuel to the Loverboy Lockie Hendricks fire.
Yeah, absolutely.
For him to walk out with that title.
Side note, how fucking sick are tournaments? Tournaments are the tits. I fucking love tournaments.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it gave us reason to talk about, guys like TD. The tournament has the inbuilt story, right? We're chasing after something. I've always, I say this with WWE all the time, fuck off all your extra Royal Rumbles that you're doing and bring back King of the Ring,
Yep. Yeah,
I loved
absolutely.
King of the Ring. King of the Ring was my shit as a kid.
To me, for King of the Ring, how I would want them to do it more, only have not all of the matches on the actual pay-per-view. I would want them to have more of the actual tournament in the weeks leading up, because otherwise it's 8 matches on a card, and when we look back to King of the Ring, they're always fucking 5-minute squash fests.
Yeah, no, you do it like they did in the final years with like the semifinals and the finals on the pay-per-view only.
Yeah, solid.
Yeah. Anyway, that's WWE. This is MCW, and we're going to get Indy Hartwell taking on Jessica Troy. Jessica Troy, of course, leading into her next week, she has a big PWWA title match, so she's going to want to not lose momentum moving forward toward there. And Indy Hartwell is possibly the star of the MCW Women's Division especially now that Avery is out with an injury. Indy Hartwell is kind of the big star here in Melbourne City Wrestling.
I mean, she's out with injury, but Avery's also leaving,
heading to the UK. Yes.
Yeah. And Indy has been the star of the Women's Division pretty much since she debuted. They've been right behind her since she started, and with good reason. She's very young. She's still got a fair way to go in the ring, but the presence that she has is phenomenal. There was one show at the Essendon Theatre, and she had to come out. This was when she was doing a promo calling out to Neil Dashwood, and the crowd booed her for no hyperbole. 5 minutes.
The hyperbole.
I know. I'm very tired. No hyperbole. 5 minutes. Booed her solid. She has such a presence. I don't know who's going to win this match because, as you said, they're going to want some momentum behind Jessica Troy going into her, where we assume that she's going to win the PWWA belt. I assume anyway. But also, you got to have the home girl win.
Yeah. I actually do have Indy Hartwell picked here because as well, it gives her an in. She has competed in PWA, and she's a credible contender for a title match at any point. So she can always cut a video promo saying, I seem to remember just a week before you won that title, I had you beat in the middle of the ring in my hometown in Melbourne. How about I come up there and do it again?
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
So it gives them an inbuilt challenger in the other company up in Sydney as well. So I don't know how much they do work together on these things, but I feel like you want the hometown girl to win, and then you can send her away to take a loss up in Sydney at a later point.
Absolutely. And I understand that Jessica Troy is a very well-known figure in Australian wrestling, but the people who are strictly MCW fans are not going to know who she is. And that's just because there are people who, they only watch MCW. So they're not going to know who she is. It's not like she's an international name. And by international name, I mean it's not like she's, as I said, to Neil Dashwood or something like that. I see Indy going over.
I think it's a great clash of styles here as well with Jessica Troy's grappling and Indy Hartwell's more power game as well. Indy has that amazing the springboard dropkick. I don't know if she ever named it, but the impressive dropkick that she does to finish the matches, and I can just envision in my head some sort of counter into Jessica Troy's armbar kind of thing. This match could be pretty epic if they're given the right amount of time and stuff. Which, depending on where it is on the card, you could see it going pretty well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Then we get next thing we've got here in our little preview we're looking at, which is on melbournecitywrestling.com.au for those of you who want to know, where we're getting all this information. Mike Burr is taking on the debuting Maddie Wahlberg.
I cannot tell you how upset I am that I'm going to miss being in Thornbury Theatre when it's boom, 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 boom. That's one of the things I'm most upset about missing is literally just the song. We talked about this on our theme song show, which is coming out for the general public. It came out for Patreon subscribers a week ago. It's coming out in a couple of days. So keep your eye on the feed for our top 5 theme songs of all time. You said the 7th. It should be today.
Is it today? Well, then it's coming out today. So people check out the theme song episode that we did, because the Babes theme song definitely features in that.
I don't understand this match. I don't understand why Mike Burr has been chosen.
Well, okay. My question here is, where has Maddie Wahlberg been? Right? He lost his big match to Caveman Ugg. He was supposed to be going to Fale Dojo. We saw that it was announced all over social media. We've chosen Maddie Wahlberg from this tryout to go to Fale Dojo. We never saw anything about Caveman Ugg being chosen, but now the Fale Dojo photos come out. Caveman Ugg is at Fale Dojo. Maddie Wahlberg, nowhere to be seen. I think there's a reason they've chosen Mike Burr. I think Maddie Wahlberg has been in Caveman Ugg's cave. This is why he hasn't been on social media. This is why we haven't heard anything from him. He's grown a beard. and he's going to compare beards with Mike Burr.
I want to see this booked as the 21st century success story versus the 20th century success story.
I like how you just no-sell me on the fact that I believe Matty Wahlberg's going to come out with a beard.
He's too classically handsome to have a beard, for one. The Lord did not give Mr. Wahlberg that jawline for him to have a beard. Also, no, I'm not popping for your dumb ideas. This is not CJ shit booking.
He's going to be Caveman Wahlberg now. Because that's what you need to do to win. No?
No.
Fine.
So I'm just like reading the summary. It's like, yeah, I see Matthew winning this quite easily. I don't understand it. If someone could explain it to me why this is a match.
Yeah, well, he's a game changer, and Mike Burr is somewhat of an old timer, as I called them before. I feel like I'm going to get in trouble for calling them old timers, but
vintage.
But yeah,
vintage MCW.
Vintage MCW. There we go. Thank you, Maggle.
Veteran is the word I'm looking for. Veteran MCW. Let's move on.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I can pick Matty here. I don't know if he can survive Mike Burr. Mike Burr hits hard.
He does.
And Matty's coming off a big loss and disappearing for months. You know, I'm curious as to where Matty Wahlberg's headspace is, I guess.
You don't think he can survive?
No, I don't know. It's he barely survived the match with Ugg, you know?
Yeah,
I feel like he's going to have to have come out of that a different man. I mean, we saw him leaving the Max Watts venue saying, "Don't cheer me, you know, I don't deserve it," all that sort of stuff. I don't know. I'm worried about Matty Wahlberg's headspace because he's been gone for so long. So,
do you think that we're going to see him like have the Okada style meltdown, like when Okada lost the belt?
That's why I said he's going to grow a beard. Like, it's symbolic. He doesn't actually have to grow a beard, but. You know, I'm saying I feel like Matty Wahlberg maybe has lost his way. Maybe he comes out. Maybe he's been drinking a little. He's got a little beer gut. Maybe we see like Dad Bod Thor, Dad Bod Matty Wahlberg. I've lost you again, haven't I?
I don't see any of that happening. But
I feel like Matty Wahlberg is committed to the craft.
I think that, again, people who are only MCW people are not going to know who Matty Wahlberg is. There's no point in him coming to Melbourne and losing to Mike Burr. No. Literally, especially when they're pushing this game changer gimmick. When are we going to get all the game changers in the same one show?
Well, we've got four of the 5 here.
We've had 4 because then even at like Wrestle Rock when and whatever the show was on my birthday was Taylor King was there. When are we getting all of them? Ballroom Brawl.
I don't know. Yeah, probably Ballroom Brawl. I mean, maybe Taylor King is secretly going to be here, and he's going to corner Matty Wahlberg because he's having a bit of a meltdown of the ego as well himself lately over in EPW.
He's gone to rehab. Have some respect. He made the trip to Los Angeles. He's gone to rehab. He's getting his life back together.
Yeah.
And to be fair, you know what? If I was a Fremantle Dockers supporter, I would take drugs too. That's a sporting reference that's going to go over your head there, Gregory.
Yeah, but I get the gist of it. Moving on. I wanted to try to make some kind of speaking of drugs thing, but I don't know. Drugs change who you are. And Atlas Whitaker is a completely different man. That was an awful segue. Atlas Whitaker versus Kaz Jordan. Of course, Atlas Whitaker, formerly known as Canby Crawford. What is going on with this Atlas Whitaker thing?
I want to care. I really do. Deep from the bottom of my heart, I want to care about this. I don't particularly get it. I know that there was like a big buzz around when he started social media and he was like appearing, and the whole thing was like, who is Atlas Whitaker? And look,
he was following everyone. And I know. All like, who the fuck is this?
I know. And I was not able to find someone who would tell me. I was like, I've sucked a lot of dick around here. Your motherfuckers better tell me who this is. And no one would tell me. And then I was like very mildly underwhelmed. I think this isn't part of the tournament, is it? No, this is just... No. And so this is Kaz avenging what happened to Jet at the last show?
Yes.
Okay.
So Kaz and Jet are buddies, of course. We know that Kaz has sort of, filled that role that was left by Fever Pitch TB
Yep.
when TB went down with the knee injury. They teamed at the Brewery Brawl?
Kaz
They
can
teamed-
fill. He can fill my void
Yeah.
if he wants to.
Yeah, so you're getting some shirtless slick back here.
I know. This is like all my favorite things, and I'm not even going to be there.
Yeah, but Atlas, we got to think Atlas Whitaker goes over here, right? Build some steam behind this new gimmick, and he has some friends with him, right? Like they all jumped Jet. It wasn't just Atlas Whitaker.
Yeah, who are the other people? I don't remember.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
sorry.
That's right.
E-Man, and
Sexy Aladdin. Yeah.
Sexy Aladdin.
What's his actual name? Emmanuel. Yeah, he looks like Aladdin.
Yeah, he looks like Aladdin.
Yeah.
I've never noticed.
Yeah, he looks like Aladdin. We used, I didn't actually coin the name. My friend Benjamin coined the name Sexy Aladdin, which I think that Aladdin is sexy already, so I don't know why. But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So it was Emmanuel and someone who I'm probably going to get heat for not remembering.
I remember Emmanuel was sitting on the ramp the whole time watching.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a group though. There's a group here. So Atlas Whitaker, and I've seen some stuff on Twitter as well. I really should have gotten more across this. I do apologize for this. I've seen some stuff on Twitter with like "We are Atlas Whitaker" kind of thing. Like people are posting, and so I'm like, maybe Atlas Whitaker isn't just Canby. Maybe Atlas Whitaker is the group. I don't know. It feels very esoteric though when I start to break it down like that. Like I go into weird story. Like I watch Chikara here, so I'm like, Atlas Whitaker is a hive mind, and all these people that jumped Jet, that's Atlas Whitaker. It's all three of them. And so they'll have singles matches and they'll all be Atlas Whitaker at various points. And I'm just very weird with the way my brain works.
Yeah, moving on. Jake Andrew Arthur returns. I didn't even know he was gone. I'm a bad fan.
Yeah. Jake Andrew Arthur coming back for some graps. He's, he hates when I say graps.
Yeah, full disclosure, when he first started, I thought his name was Andrew Arthur. I thought Andrew was his first name. Like, his name is Andrew Arthur. But no, Judo Jake is back. In this promo picture that I'm looking at, he is wearing blue, so I assume that he's ditched the Helter Skelter red.
Yeah, it looks that way. And you know who else wears blue? Atlas Whitaker. We are Atlas Whitaker. I'm calling it now. Jake Andrew Arthur's going to return and be like, I'm not Jake Andrew Arthur. We are Atlas Whitaker, and he's gonna return in this match and beat the shit out of Kaz Jordan.
I don't think it would make any sense for Jake Andrew Arthur to return as a henchman heel, because I feel like he's been a henchman heel for the last 2 years.
Right, and that's the thing. He has a mind clearly that is susceptible to cult brainwashing.
I hope we see him as face, just personally, because when he first came out, he'd come out in his little judo gear and he'd like wave and smile to the crowd and he's like, I'm a Commonwealth Games guy. And then all of a sudden he was a bad guy. Duh.
Yeah, well, he's also a communist. So, nice. Billie Eilish.
Yes.
I get that reference. Yeah. He's also a communist, though. So, you know.
Oh, the more you know.
Well, you know. Kellyanne. Someone, I was about to say the Queen of MCW. That's not a thing. She's not the first lady of MCW. That's Shazza McKenzie.
I want to say she-wolf because she often does things. What's a she-wolf? Is that a thing?
She's the leader of the Fiend Club. Let's just go with that. Leader of the Fiend Club, Kellyanne, taking on Xena. And I want to say this is Xena's MCW debut, but it's not. Is it? Is it her MCW? She did Wrestle Rock.
Yeah, I think it's her MCW debut. I don't think that Wrestle Rock counts as
Thornbury Theatre debut. There we go.
And
let's go with that.
I think that Xena, the first time I saw her properly, was in the Fatal 4-Way at PWA in, I want to say February, with Candy Lee and I feel like Jessica Troy was in there maybe, and someone else. And Big Boy Mikey and I were so impressed with the chops she was taking. She was taking some fucking slammers. So yeah, I think that this is going to be sorry, I lost my brain. I think this is going to be an awesome match, and I think that it's awesome that we're getting a couple of fresh to MCW faces in the women's division. We've got 2 women's matches on the card for the first time since I can remember. This is awesome. I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. And Xena is very impressive. She's definitely one to keep an eye out on. I'm kind of bummed that I didn't pick her as my Sydney act to watch. Sydney, back at the beginning of 2019, I did like a act to watch in each state. And Sydney was the hardest. There were so many to choose from. And Xena was right there. And my rule was they couldn't have debuted on PWA or anything. And so I had to choose. And I'm bummed out that I didn't pick Xena. I probably could have done a couple from Sydney, to be honest with you. She's very impressive, and I'm looking forward to seeing her grow. The tag team stuff with Lux is great too, but that's not the tag team we want to talk about right now. We want to talk about the three times Brat Pack taking on the Natural Classics in their return from the Fale Dojo. We talk about returns. It's only really been like 3 shows that they've missed. Well, oh no, actually, because of how many shows were in May, it's been more than that.
Yeah, but and also that's a lot of shows in the time when you don't have like a weekly product. 3 shows is a lot. Like that's a lot of storyline. Yeah, so we've seen the Brat Pack have been in some amazing matches this year. They're obviously investing in them quite a bit. I'm completely torn over who's going to win this.
Yeah. Well, we do know that the Natural Classics are still really not long for Australia, right? Because they're going to the New Japan Dojo, and we don't know whether that's like a permanent thing. Are they going to actually be Young Lions in the New Japan system, or are they just going for a little stint? Which, you know, a couple of others that have come out of the Fale Dojo have sort of gone over there for a month at a time kind of thing. Is it going to be one of those situations? But they're heading to Japan relatively soon.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to think Brat Pack keep it here, or do we try to, you know, ruin Nick Berry's hair even more by giving it to the Natural Classics, then letting the Brat Pack take it back in a month or two's time so he can have 4 slits and we can just slowly take over the head, as you said.
I would love that. That's my dream. But I am quite torn because, like, even if we are seeing Tom and Stevie on future shows, there's needs to be more people being built up for the main event scene. I think that that's a very big problem for them at the moment because there's no one new coming through. And so when you've got Sleck's not on the card, Gino's not on the card, Dowie's not on the card, and who's the other one? Adam Brooks is not on the card. Those have been like the 4 main people for the last, and obviously Robbie. Those have been the main people for the last 18 to 24 months. None of them are on the card, and there's not a whole lot of big names left. I think that they really need to start building big names to be hitting the main event scene.
Right. Yeah.
Do you not agree with me?
No, I do. But you think that you think that the Brat Pack are going to be those guys?
No, I think that obviously with the Philippe's leaving, it's not going to be them. But if they were to stick around, I would want to see Stevie as a singles person. I think that Stevie is talented enough and has enough heat with the crowd that he can be more of a main eventer.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, no, I can see that. I can absolutely see that. So you're going with the Brat Pack to retain?
Yes, I am. Sorry. Okay. I'm very tired. I'm very rampy.
Yeah, I felt like it was a very long way to get to the Brat Pack retain. I think so too. I think logically, yeah, I'm with you 100%. The Brat Pack retain here, but I just want to see the 4x4 slit thing, like because he started doing that in the promos, and I'm like, we need to take this to a ridiculous level. I want 17-time tag team champs Brat Pack.
Yeah, we want like R-Truth level. With his 24/7 belt. I know that's a sore spot with you.
No, it's not a sore spot. No, the 24/7 thing is actually I'm okay. Like I like that. Everyone else is like, oh, 24/7, what an emblem of how crap WWE's gotten. And I'm like, man, I like the crazy, funny shenanigans. I just think they should be doing more live streaming on social network. Like, get me an Instagram story that follows the champion. Like, tell us there's a camera following him all the time and it just turns on when someone attacks, you know?
Solid.
Yeah.
Anyway. Have you seen the little boy? It's my pal Emma. Her little boy actually got the 3 slits in the side of his head. It was very cute. I'm also
That's adorable.
It is very cute, but it's also like, maybe pick another hero, mate. Like, maybe don't pick the guy who's like renowned for like missing shows due to STDs.
Yeah. Maybe look up to someone you actually have to look up to.
That's not nice. That's not nice. I'm so anti height shaming with men.
Dude, I'm short as fuck. I'm joking.
I'm aware.
Yeah.
I will fight you though.
No, I love the Brat Pack. He called us goobers one time when Dan said that they were the less experienced tag team when they were going up against Loose and Reckless. And so he was like, one of these goobers, and I'm like, at least know who it was, because it wasn't me. So now I'm just
I think you copped the blame for that though.
What was that?
I think you still cop the blame for it though.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm going to say, for this 3-year-old kid, pick someone who you actually have to look up to, right? If I'm going to have heat anyway, I may as well have heat for something I actually fucking said.
Preach.
Yeah.
So yeah, quick recap.
Brat Pack walk out with the titles. That's what we're thinking.
Yeah. So we both have Danny Psycho. We both have Lockie Hendricks and Indy Hartwell. Were you going Mike Burr or Maddie Wahlberg?
I went Mike Burr. Yeah.
That's where we differ there. Both going out.
I mean, logically, I agree with you again. Once again, I do agree with you. But the story I want to see unfold, I want to see him have a crisis. So I go Mike Burr.
Yeah, cool. We both got Atlas Whitaker.
Yep.
Who did we say for Kellyanne versus Xena?
Well, I think Kellyanne's a lock for that.
Yeah, me too. And we both are going the Brat Pack.
Isn't it weird when we just agree on everything?
It's more common. I think it's because our disagreements are so violent.
So passionate.
Yeah.
Passionate is the word that I use. Yeah.
That we probably remember them. I feel like we agree on booking decisions a lot.
Yeah, no, we agree a lot. It's just, our passion is a very disagreement. Now, where can people find you on social media if they want to see you disagree with me passionately more often?
You can see me disagree with Greg passionately. I don't know. Do we disagree online? You can find me on...
I've got you muted because you said that you had me muted, and I was like, fuck this, I'm going to mute her.
I've got you muted on Twitter because you live stream. You live tweet old shit.
I haven't done that in a while. Just because I've been lazy lately, and I'm just like, I don't want to look at my phone.
Side note, I never tweet.
I go through phases.
You can find me on Twitter at Danderfield, on Instagram at Rachel Danderfield. If you're into nude women in their 30s, you can find me on patreon.com/Rachel Danderfield. Please don't.
That was the worst pitch you've ever made for that.
I know. I'm like, full disclosure, I don't know if I should be putting this. Full disclosure, I posted a very risque photo on my story, and I got 6 new patrons yesterday. So I've obviously got a market.
So that's the secret? That's the secret. I'm going to start posting risque photos to our B+ Instagram.
Done.
Wow.
I'll just start tagging B+ in mine, and you can just share them on the story. Anyway, please don't add me on Facebook. We're not friends. Where can we find you, Gregory?
I am Greg Unchained on Twitter, the Greg Unchained on Instagram. We collectively are the B+ Wrestle on Twitter because wrestling wouldn't fit. We should say, go to mcw.com for tickets. I don't know where the tickets are, I'm the worst. But this show's taking place at the Thornbury Theatre tomorrow night, Saturday. Get out to the show and support local graps. And if you want to support us, of course, patreon.com/the B+. Thank you so much for listening.